No, what's up? We're just setting this up right now. We're going live. I'm gonna do this on data. Yo, so just to start off with, I got Starlink because yesterday we were like dropping off like crazy, and I was just like, all right, I need some like I need to control my destiny when it comes to internet. I can't just be, at the whims of the Airbnb gods. By the way, do I have effects on? Like, no, I want no effects. How do I get no effects? Anyway, so today I got Starlink, and then literally like Starlink doesn't work. Like I see all this Starlink propaganda about like, oh, get Starlink, got internet anywhere. That's not it. So I'm very angry at Starlink right now. Like literally, like I can show you. Like you look outside my apartment in Kosovo, and it's literally just like any normal house on a street. Too many obstructions doesn't work, and it's like if I'm a digital nomad, I can't be like paying people to put up and put down Starlink every month. That's just ridiculous cost. So I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed in Starlink. I'm pretty angry in Starlink right now, but we'll keep on going. But anyway, Passport Paulie live. People are still trickling in. I'm gonna be talking about this a lot during this live. But so if you guys have been on my lives this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like you know that like I've been promoting my course. I've been promoting people to do super chats and stuff. Like I am going to like I made a lot of money this week. I don't want to brag, but I made a lot of money this week. So today and tomorrow and Monday, we're not doing any promos. No promos, no plugs. It's gonna be no plug zone. So throw the questions. What country is the most passionate lovers? If you're looking for Latin American countries with the most passionate lovers, you are looking for like Northern South America and Central America. Those are the places that you're looking for the most. That's where the most passion is. But here's what people have to understand about passion. Passion also means like craziness. You know what I mean? Like you're never there's no such thing as like a passionate girl that also isn't gonna like set your car on fire if you cheat on her. You know what I mean? So you need to understand that passion is a double-edged sword. If you want passion, you know what I mean? Like that's what's gonna happen. So Mr. Bean says Colombia was hot but no passion. Venezuela is both. The problem that I'm guessing you have in Colombia is that you weren't really like in the relationships with those girls. You were kind of just doing like one night stands, like that type of stuff, right? And like then they're not passionate, obviously. Timmy asked, "You went to India, right?" Yeah, no, I spent a month in Mumbai. India is the only country that I've ever gotten eczema in. I've literally never had eczema in my entire life. By the way, like this is why like people say that eczema is a skin disease. I don't want to like put people on eczema on blast right now, but I don't believe that. I believe that eczema comes from filth because I spent a month in India and I developed eczema. It was just that filthy in India. I shower twice a day, but I wasn't able to do that in India because the one the one Airbnb in my entire life that didn't have a working shower was in India. Obviously, a coincidence. Obviously, that's a coincidence. I don't know. Like, do people want me to be India bashing this entire time? I can do it. Here's the thing. I know people come here for travel advice, and I obviously want to give travel advice on all of these things. But like, what I'm finding more and more, especially now that I'm clipping my own videos, is like most of the questions I'm answering are the same. So like, what I'm hoping to start doing is just so like because I know that there are people who literally are watching every one of my lives, right? So if you are, I want you like I don't want you to just be hearing me talk about the Philippines and Medellin every single time. You know what I mean? I want you to have different content that you're hearing. And so like I want to, start varying it up. So I can do a hate on India live right now if you guys want. What's up? Anyway, so rule number one, don't go to India. Yeah. Hey Paul, as an Asian, I'm noticing I'm getting more attention from Brazilian women. K-pop effect. I can honestly I can honestly see that's possible. Your content is growing like crazy. Thanks, dude. My growth has kind of hit a plateau on Instagram, and it's hit a plateau on TikTok like months ago, but it's starting to grow more on YouTube, which I'm kind of pumped about. So, um, where are the Argentinian women at? Argentina. That's where the Argentinian women are at, in case people are wondering. If you want to date an Argentinian woman, go to Argentina, is my answer. So people want to know how I do my research. I do my research with my cat. I don't know what I can say on YouTube or not, but like my research is from firsthand POV research. That's where I'm getting my information from. And then on top of that, like now that I'm married, like, in order to find a lot of like the up to date places, I have like whole networks of passport bros that I talk to like regularly. And obviously, like, if you're a passport bro and you don't want to put me onto a place because you're like, you know, I don't want it to get blown up. Like I have strict confidentiality about like the really good spots. You know what I mean? But anyway, were you ever on RVF? What's RVF? You you don't need to get an Argentinian passport. Biggest concern I have is my age when trying to date and looking for a partner in southern Brazil. How big of a deal is it in southern Brazil? I'm almost 40. You're fine. If you're in your late 30s, early 40s, you're fine. Don't worry about it. I talk to guys who are like in their 50s and 60s, who, by the way, are being successful. So, like, never think that you are like too late. You know what I mean? I've never been on the Roosh V forums. I don't really know who Roosh V is, to be honest. I'm not like a like people think that because I make Passport Bro content, like I know a lot about Passport Bros and like the Passport Bro like industry. I really don't actually. I'm really oblivious to all of this stuff. So I just post my own shit. I don't let people do kind of what they do. Okay. Passport brother, what's good? Um, What's the consensus on Kenya? I've heard good things about Kenya. I haven't been. The only African countries I've been to are Morocco and Egypt. So I don't really know about Kenya. But if you like black girls, like go to Kenya, right? I was good at my other language skills. I speak Spanish and I speak Polish. I don't really I didn't really like I don't really like I don't really like what's it called Egypt that much. Egypt's kind of like a shithole, to be honest. It's not as bad as India. India is like a shithole, but like Egypt, just like they kind of let Cairo just devolve, and like I kind of get this feeling that happens a lot in a city. Like I don't mind roughing it at all. Now that I'm getting a little bit older, I kind of like want some nice shit from time to time, but like I don't mind roughing it. And like what will happen is like from time to time, I'll just be like, all right, I'm done with like the shitty spots. Let's go to like a nice area and like let's have a little bit of like civilization. And like there isn't even really that in Cairo. It's all just kind of a bunch of rundown stuff. And even like you'll go into like what happens a lot in Cairo is like you'll go into a building that like on the outside is like like looks like a rundown piece of shit. And then on the inside it looks really nice. And so their defense is like our interiors are really nice. It's like fine, but like for me, like I really care about like the external beauty of cities. Um, if I ever became dictator and like, I might try to become dictator one day, but if I ever became dictator, one of my first policies would be to execute litterers. If like the punishment for littering will be a public execution, and it's gonna be really sad when we execute the first, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 litterers. But like after that, were going to stop fucking littering, and our overall society is gonna be a lot better because of it. And you really feel that when you're traveling, when you go to places that have a lot of litter, that have a lot of trash on the street, like people clearly do not take pride in. You can kind of see the psychological impact that it has. And in my opinion, littering is psychological warfare against the population. I can see that people are dropping off when I'm saying this. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna keep on going. I hate littering so much. And people will often say, like, oh, this place is dirty because it's poor. And like, I don't believe that. I believe the causality goes in the other direction. Places are poor because they're dirty. Because littering is a thing that like you don't need money to not have trash on the street. You just need to have a conscientious population that cares about that type of shit. I've gone to, you know, urban like rural towns in Japan that are piss poor, beautiful, clean. Like these piss poor towns in Japan are so much more delightful than like even Beverly Hills in America. So I really hate littering. I don't know what like Egypt that got me on this tirade, but yeah. There's so many poor places extremely clean. Yeah, and like what happens is like you know like a lot of the poor places that are clean are starting to get a lot richer. This is the reason why Asia is developing. I'm gonna go on another rant. You know, this is the problem with me not selling courses. So a lot of people just joined. So if you've been on my lives all week, you've seen me like hawking my course. I made a lot of money this week. I'm not greedy. I don't really care. So today and tomorrow, I'm not doing any plugs at all. But like part of that also is you get more of my unhinged takes. But people say that like China is eventually going to take over the United States. I completely disagree with that. China has already taken over the United States. It's not going to happen. It's already happened. You go to East Asia and you compare it to, America, and like America seems like a third world country in comparison to Korea, Japan, Singapore. I've only spent a few days in China, so like I can't speak to the modern state of China, but like I have a lot of friends who live in China, and I'll ask them, I'll be like, bro, like I see a lot of positive content, but I know how social media is. Is this bullshit? And they're like, no, bro, it is this nice. So we've just allowed our public spaces to just completely degenerate and turn into shitholes. So anyway, um, let me see. You want to execute people for littering 100%. Don't find them. Like public executions. Like I'm literally saying that like, you know, every Sunday at like 8 p.m., like, you know, firing squads. Anyway, so I'm gonna like stop on this, but um these are the same people that get to vote. Like me or the litterers get to vote. Like litterers should obviously not get to vote. But anyway, just got back from Malta. Expensive but so beautiful. I'm planning on going to Malta soon. I'm really excited. I've been obsessed with Malta ever since I read this book about the siege of Malta in 1565, like 10 years ago. And so like I really want to go see it because like that was really cool. How's living in Brazil without knowing Portuguese? Does knowing Spanish help? You can, so if you are fluent in Spanish, you don't need to know Portuguese. Like you can just like speak Portuguese. You can speak Spanish to people who speak Portuguese, and then they'll speak Portuguese to you, and you'll be able to understand. But that's only if you speak fluent Spanish, like you're a native Spanish speaker. If you're just like my level of Spanish, it doesn't work like that. So, but the good thing is that like if you speak Spanish, it becomes very easy to learn Portuguese. Portuguese and Spanish written down are basically the same language. I can read Portuguese just fine because I can read Spanish, right? It's just you have to learn not just how to pronounce the words differently. The pronunciation is very easy. You just kind of pronounce it like you've taken like 5 whippets to the head. But like what the hard part is understanding when people are talking to you, like what they're saying, because Portuguese is basically Spanish pronounced by a French person, and so like they only say like half the word and it becomes really difficult. This iron is like the dark skin ones. I don't know what that means, but okay. Born in Puerto Rico, live here, and Brazilians you can't understand. I mean, like, here's one thing that happens, right? Okay, like I'm happy for your perspective. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. Great. I've worked with a Brazilian company before, and I've been on their all hands meetings, and the Brazilian staff speak Portuguese, and then the staff that's based in Colombia, in Chile, in Argentina, in Mexico, they all speak Spanish, and both of those people understand each other. So like people a lot of times will pull this like, "Hey, I'm a Latino. Let me tell you how it actually is" to me card, and I'm just like, bro, like it doesn't work at this point. Like I know what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is true. Like you can disagree with me. I'm just saying like the fact that you were born in Puerto Rico doesn't do anything for me, man. Like, um, go to the main cathedral in the capital, the Grand Master's Palace. But um, wrong. I don't know what you said was wrong, but okay. India would have no population. Um, I got a Latina girlfriend because of her content. Thanks, man. Tier 2 city, Guadalajara. Shout out you. Um, Awesome, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Those are some of the nicest messages I get when people will like because you have to understand like for me when I make those videos like I actually kind of feel a little grimy about myself. I think they're like really silly and unserious. But like and then I'll have people like I'll make a video like I remember there was this one video I made that was like like where to find like half Iranian women, and it's like I thought it was just such a stupid video, but then like somebody like reaches out to me and is like, "Hey man, thanks to your video, like I got married." And I was just like, "What?" Interested in dating and marrying a Latina abroad. By get the likes up or marry an American lib. I don't know what that means. Fucking shit, man. Sorry. Um. Anyway. Dinner. I'm just gonna pin this in case people want to get it. I don't know, man. It's fine. I don't really care. I've been like these lives are incredibly successful for me, so I don't really care. I'm at a point where I don't really care about views and likes anymore. I just care about like what's like what the production is. Anyway, let's answer some question. You go ahead. You don't speak any of those as name language, but go ahead, bro. Again, like so this is what happens, and this is what I find like really annoying is like there are people who come on this live who think that like they're the first Latino that I've ever met in person, and that I need to like defer to their superior understanding as if I've never heard a contrary opinion to theirs. But like first of all my wife is Latina, like my wife doesn't speak English, by the way, so like you're a native Spanish speaker, but like I literally spent all of my time with somebody who doesn't even speak English, so I think that her perspective is a little better than yours, and she says the same thing. Maybe you don't speak Spanish as well as you think you do. Maybe 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 just maybe just maybe just maybe you're LARPing as a Latino because you know that in America, being a Latino gets you a lot of street cred with like white liberals. So you know that if you just go around saying, "Hey man, I'm a Latino," like a lot of white liberals are gonna like give you deferential treatment, but you don't actually go to Latin American countries, you don't actually speak Spanish, you don't actually do any of this stuff, and you're just kind of like a LARPer who's like using the your background in order to gain status points in America. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Anyway, does the poly system only work in the Americas? I mean, not really. Like here's how I explain it. Again, like no plugs, but answering the question. I know what my niche is. You know what I mean? Like my niche is Latinas. That's what people come to me for. I made videos about Asians, no one gives a shit. I made videos about Europe, no one gives a shit. I'm the Latina guy. I understand that, right? So I only like to give my expertise about Latinas because I don't want to talk about shit that people aren't in, like that I'm not the expert in, right? That being said, like the fundamental facts of the poly system, the fundamental things you need to learn when you're dating Latin America versus dating the United States is how to date women that are more feminine versus the masculine type of women that you meet in the United States, right? And so because of that, like these same rules apply because the same thing applies to different cultures. So like feminine women in like Southeast Asia, for instance, are just as not interested in talking about Star Wars as a woman in Latin America is, right? So the same principles apply. And I've actually helped guys, date in Eastern Europe. I've helped guys date in Southeast Asia too. It's just my focus, my specialty, my content. I know that that's like what people come to me for is Latin America. Again, no plugs. But if you want to go to my, my bio or the link that I pinned in the YouTube and buy the Poly system, I'm not going to say no. But again, I'm not plugging anything. Um, bro, so this person keeps on coming in my lives and saying like I have an important question for Captain Ballsack, and then just keeps on calling me Captain Ballsack. This guy's been doing this all week, and I'm going to block him in a second. I don't really care that much, but what I think is important is that I find this whole phenomenon of hate watching to be so interesting because I have so many people who like reach out to me and say they hate my content, right? And I guess like if one of my videos comes on your feed and like you don't like it and you just comment how much you hate me, like okay, I get it. I still think that's kind of weird. I just don't comment on shit, but like okay, whatever. Like if you want to hate comment, right? But then like there's some people who keep on following me and like have this like weird obsession with me to like attack me and insult me. And I don't care because I start blocking those people. But like, I think the more profound thing is that if you are somebody who's a follower of mine, the message I want to give to you is like, don't do that. Like, you should be focusing on your own happiness, right? And if you find yourself getting into a lot of arguments online, and by the way, I typically tell my followers, like, don't defend me in my comments. Like, I don't want you to defend me in my comments, right? I want you to go to my videos to get valuable information on how to improve your life. And then I want you to go out and improve your life. If you are arguing in my comments, that's not helping you at all. That's only helping me. And I appreciate your help, but like, I don't want you to help me. I want you to help yourself, right? So if you're somebody who finds yourself obsessed with the internet, always on forums arguing with people, and by the way, I'm not judging. I used to be like this before I started traveling abroad, which is why I'm so acute to this message. Like, stop. Don't do that. Okay. Watch these lives and stuff in order to get information. That's all great, right? There's value in that, right? But like, you need to be focused on your own happiness, right? So what you need to do is you need to, um, either like your first step needs to get a remote income. That's number one. Okay. Once you get a remote income, become a nomad. Once you become a nomad, start sleeping with a lot of women, get your confidence up, get those experiences out of your way that you always wanted to have. And then, four, settle down, get married, have kids, start a family. And then, like, if you are so bored that you now have free time to argue with people on the internet, then take your free time and donate to the poor. Okay. But at no point in time should you have so much free time that you are just getting in like random stupid arguments on the internet. And by the way, I do too, right? Like I'm not saying that like it's a horror, you know, like he without sin cast the first stone. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I'm not saying that I don't do it. What I'm saying is focus on your own happiness. Arguing in comments isn't going to get you there. When should you start doing all this? Is there a good age to start? You should do it ASAP, man. Like there's no reason to not. There's no reason to wait. You know what I mean? Like why would you imagine a girl like asks you like, hey, would you want me to give you head today, or would you want me to give you head today and tomorrow? And you're like, "Oh, I don't know. I wanna wait till tomorrow." It's like, no, just get it today and then get it tomorrow, right? There's no reason to wait because, like, it's not like you're gonna get any better experiences, right? So, um, I think Bolivia has become one of the better cities. You try to ridicule the way you talk. Yeah, man, I mean, like, what I'm here to do is, like, make people, by your own USA women, same false pride, think you know it all. I don't know, this person got mad at me. Okay, so he's just, talking shit, whatever. I'm not gonna block you unless you start being like a dick. But anyway, I'm still young. Like, why not? Okay, you're still young. Why not take advantage of that youth and like, oh, it's still rough right now with my school. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a very specific question, but just like start working online. Do you like Albania? I love Albania. Albania is one of my favorite countries in the world. Um, like I have some criticisms of it, and I can't live in Albania long term. But me and my wife spent 2.5 months in Albania, and we really liked it. So, I really like it, dude. Any age is still young. You know what I mean? Like if you're still alive, you should go pursue your dreams. You're never too old to be happy. Um, Anyway, any intel on Bolivia? I think Bolivia is gonna become one of the nicest places to go to as as a passport bro. Bro, the internet's full of people who are unhappy with themselves. 100%, dude. I understand that the internet's full of people who are unhappy with themselves, and I try to get people to become happier with themselves. You know what I mean? Like that's my goal. My goal is to get all of you guys. First of all, to get all of you guys laid, and then second of all, to like after you guys get laid, to get like happily married and like have kids and family. That's my goal, and that's how you become happy. I got jumped in Albania. Okay, I don't really know. How'd you get jumped in Albania? Where were you in Albania? Were you like in the slums in Tirana? Would you say China's a decent spot? I would love to go to China. China is like one of the, you know, top places in the world, in my opinion. Um, anyway, okay. So this person was apparently in a shitty part of Albania and like blames Albania for the fact that he got jumped. Okay, bro. I mean, like I was in a nice area of Durrës by the beach, and I had a good time. So if you're going to Albania, don't don't stay in a really poor part of town. Stay in a nice part of town. Albania is insanely cheap, so you can do both. Me and my wife had like a 2 bedroom right next to the beach, literally like a 5-10 minute walk to the beach in Durrës, and we're paying like $600 a month. So like if you even if you're making 3K a month, you can afford that. Um, or Costa Ricans are gold. Yeah, if you're Latino, the places that you want to go to are places with a lot of like white liberal women. It's the same thing if you're black, right? If you're black or Latino, you want to go to where the white liberal women are at. And I know that like you're becoming a passport bro to not be around the white liberal women. I get that. But like you you have to go to the like you have to go to the people who want you, right? And like white liberal women will like fawn over themselves to date a Latino or to date a black dude because they'll like prove their like progressive credentials. And like, yeah, they're doing it for the wrong reasons, but like everyone does everything for the wrong reasons. Yeah, Bolivia just got rid of the blue rate. They like the currency just started floating, but anyway, Chad giving out free advice. Thanks, man. I mean, like, I know you want to get away from the white liberal women, but like, you know, that's just how the world works. You know what I mean? Like, like it's like sell the products to the people who want to buy your products, right? If I was about to say something really racist, and I'll probably get canceled for it, so I'm not even gonna do that. I hear that black women have let time go for white men, which sucks for me. You're avoiding my question. Which question am I avoiding? Does the poly system only work for Latinos? So I'm not avoiding the question. It's just I literally answered the question 2 minutes before you came on, and so like I don't want all the other people who just heard me answer that question to hear the same exact question. But since you gave a gift and nobody else did, by the way, people watching on YouTube, if you can give a super chat, I really appreciate it. People on TikTok don't give any gifts whatsoever. Just click like. People on TikTok just click like. People on YouTube give gifts because TikTok takes like 80% of the money, and I don't want that to happen. But anyway, because you gave a gift, I'm going to answer your question, even though I just answered. I'm gonna give you the spark notes, which is I talk about Latinos because that's my niche. The things that I say apply to people that are not just Latinos. This is like the crux of the poly system is the difference between traditional women and non-traditional women. And the problem that a lot of Americans have when dating Latin America is they're used to dating non-traditional women. And there are certain things about non-traditional women that are easier than traditional women, such as you can talk about a lot of bullshit to non-traditional women that traditional women don't find interesting. That's why Latinas are flaking on you and ghosting you. It's because you're talking to them about non-interesting bullshit. So what the poly system does, the A and the U in the poly system are all about how to get um, these traditional women hot over you, right? And the way you do that is, the A is arouse emotions, ask questions to them that arouse their emotions, and then you use your balls, like be a man, lead, be a big swinging dick, and the girl's gonna follow you. Does that make sense? So, like, yes, that will apply everywhere. But the reason why I talk specifically about Latin America is because that's like you know, um, that's my niche. Free consultations. I have some questions to see if I like. I don't know what that means. Yo, what's up, Austin? What do you think about the TikTok algorithms affecting your videos? I don't really know what that means, but like, the thing about the algorithms, man, is that like people will often. Thank you for the gift, man. I appreciate it. If you're in YouTube, give a super chat or buy the course. I said no promos, but buy the course anyway. So, like, one thing that I think is critical, and like a lot of people need to understand this. I'm going to give the spiel a million times, but this is the first time giving the spiel this time. Is you need to understand that most of the information that you see online when it comes to Latin America is 100% bullshit. And I can tell you this, as somebody who has 200,000 followers over Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, like I know the way these algorithms work like very well because I'm very good at them. And I can tell you that like the algorithms feed you bullshit. And the reason why is because algorithms reward two main types of content. One, content that everybody else is talking about, like subject matters that everyone's talking about, right? Like you can make the best video in the world. If it's about a subject that no one cares about, it's not getting pushed out, right? And the second one is positive content. Now, there's a lot of negative content that goes viral, but that goes viral a lot less often than positive content. What I mean by that is if I went on and I made a video about how Cartagena sucks or how Medellin sucks, right? From time to time, those videos can go viral, of course, right? Because there's be a lot of fighting in the comments, whatever, right? But a video that I go on where I come up and I say Medellin is amazing, that is going to go viral 100 times more. And the reason why is because one of the most important metrics on both YouTube and Instagram, and in fact, one of the few metrics that both algorithms can agree on is the importance of shares. Right. And so if you see a video where it's me walking through Medellin saying, man, these chicks are all over me, it could be a complete lie. You're sending it to 10 friends and being like, yo, we should go to Medellin. Even if you know it's a lie, you're going to send that video as a joke. right? So all of these content creators have a perverse incentive to lie to you constantly, right? And so this is the problem with like I talk to people all the time. Where like I'm getting my research on the internet, and like they don't want to pay for a consultation, they don't want to pay for the policy system. They're like, I'm gonna get my information on the internet. I'm like, okay, that's great, that's fine. And then they reach out to me 4 months later and like, hey man, I got my information on the internet. I spent 2 months in Medellin, a month in Rio de Janeiro, then a month in Buenos Aires. This passport bro shit sucks. And I'm like, well, you went to the three worst cities to be a passport bro. But you went to the three cities that are being pushed the most by the algorithm, right? So, you know, don't do your information on the internet. Like if you are actually going and look, like you don't have to pay me, right? But if you're somebody who's actually going to go be a passport bro, who's actually going to pay thousands of dollars to go to South America and meet a lot of women and try to sleep with a lot of women or just meet your wife or whatever, like you have to realize that like you're going to waste a lot of money going to bad places. And I've already wasted that money going to bad places. So anyway, I said I wasn't going to promo, so I'm going to stop. Okay, so Latvia is like a perfect segue about this. Is that like Latvia so what's the point of doing TikToks if it's not 1 minute video, no money? Yeah, but like you usually make more money by selling your own like products anyway. Anyway, so someone asked about Latvia, right? Is that like Latvia is a perfect like example of this? Is that like Latvia, like some Indian guy, and I'm sure it was Indian, like 6 months ago, went online and Googled which countries have the largest disparities between men and women. And it didn't matter what the answer was. Whatever number one was going to be, he was going to make a video about it, right? And every video that I've seen about Latvia has been either like a post or an AI voiceover with pictures of hot Latvian women, right? I, but I've never seen two people. There are three things that I've not seen, right? The first is a video of Latvian women being interviewed or making their own videos talking about how there aren't enough men there and how they really want more men to come there to sweep them off their feet. That's one video I've never seen. I've never seen one video like that. If any of you seen that video, send it to me. Number two, I've never seen a video of a passport bro walking around the streets of Latvia being like, yo, man, my balls are drained. I've never seen that. I've never seen that video. That video is not ever been presented to me. And then three, as I said, I have huge networks of passport bros who have been to tons of different countries. And I've never once, I've had pretty, I think I've pretty, I've had, I think I've had every country recommended to me at this point. Like, like there, maybe like 40% of countries have been recommended to me. Like, you know, a lot of them I haven't like agreed with, but like people have said that they've had a good time. I've never had Latvia recommended to me by somebody who actually goes around, you know, sleeping around. So it's like, I think it's an India scam. Oh, somebody actually just said that. Um, Asuncion is not cheap anymore. Um, Buenos Aires is like one of the worst cities in the world to go. Um, I've coded for fun before, but I'm not an engineer. I just don't have that brain. Um, so like is Belarus an up and coming passport spot as you're in Europe? I don't know. It could be. I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know. With Colombia electing a right winger for president, um, so this person says Curitoba. I think he's mixing Cordoba and Curitiba, or are you talking about something else? Anyway, Curitiba. Oh, I think he's purposely combining Curitiba and Cordoba. By the way, Theo, thanks for sending your boy over. I appreciate that. He's a good kid. I'm excited for him to have some success in Latin America. Like I don't think a right winger is going to help Colombia at all because so just to say like I don't meddle in international politics at all. I try like because the reason why is because I've heard so many foreigners' takes on US politics, and they're just so brain dead. And I'm not saying the foreigners are brain dead. I'm just saying that like it's such a regurgitation of like shit that you see on either MSNBC, Fox News, Twitter, or whatever, right? And even when I agree with their takes, I'm just like, you clearly don't have the requisite knowledge to actually be making this opinion, right? And so, because of that, I try not to, I try never to comment on like foreign countries' politics as like a starting point. But in terms of like how it's going to like change Colombia, I think the issue with Colombia for as a passport bro destination has nothing to do with anything that politics will do. It's just there are too many Americans there right now, right? So unless he's going to start cracking down on Americans going there, like I don't see him changing anything. Yeah, I guess I comment on England. Like one thing that I think is important is like, you have to take everything I say with like a huge grain of salt. Like I'm a huge hypocrite, and like I say shit and then like I violated the next moment, right? I'm just kind of talking about what like when I say I do something, more often than not, I just mean like I'm trying to do this, if that makes sense. Um Passive bro tips for a 27-year-old black guy tired of black chicks. Um I don't know, like, honestly, like, if I was a black guy, I would go to I would ask other black guys, like, which Asians are not really racist against black people, and then I would go to Asia. Okay, so this is actually a good question. Like, what do I do when the Mexican girlfriend is violent? And by the way, like, there's a whole section about this in the Paulie system, which is E, establish authority. Like the problem that you're having, the reason why your Latina is getting violent on you and like talking back or like whatever issue you have is because she doesn't respect your authority, right? And one thing about authority that's kind of pernicious about authority is that like you can't tell somebody you need to respect my authority because nothing makes people respect your authority less than you pleading for them to respect your authority, right? So what you need to do if you want to get your Latina to respect your authority is you need to like act with her in a way where you're establishing your authority and you're fighting these tiny little battles with her to like, you know, win the alpha role in the relationship. And like little by little, she'll start respecting your authority a lot more. I like to compare Latinas to Rottweilers, right? Like Rottweilers, if you are breaking into the home, a Rottweiler is gonna like tear you to pieces and is gonna like attack you and everything, right? But like if you are the head of the household, the Rottweiler is gonna be like an adorable puppy with you, right? And like you just need to win that respect for them from them, and then they're not going to be violent with you. They're not going to talk. My wife doesn't talk back to me at all. Like literally, the only fights that me and my wife have nowadays, and again, it's been a process, which is why I made the system. Like I had to learn the hard way, right? But the only fights that me and my wife have anymore is literally just like she wants me to spend more time with her. That's like the only fights we really have nowadays, right? Which is a good fight to have, right? Like it's much better than her, fighting over some other bullshit. So, you know, again, I said no plugs. This is a no plug day. I'm not plugging at all. But if you want your Mexican girlfriend to stop hitting you, you need to get the poly system and just study E, establish authority. Um, Blackman. So there's an argument in the YouTube where one guy says black men should go to Japan, Philippines, and Thailand, avoid China and Korea. And then somebody says girls in Philippines literally said they don't like when black or Arabs go to the bars. And then the other guy says you're clueless. Um, Filipinos are into black men, and then like they're arguing about that. So there's apparently like a controversy on if Filipinas like black guys or not. I obviously don't know. So, I'm just kind of telling you. Bro, Starlink is shit, man. Starlink is shit. Like you can't use Starlink as a passport, bro. Is my opinion. Like the things that you have to do in order to, know that you can actually use Starlink in Airbnb is just like too much. So, um oh, if you live in a large farm, yes, I'm sure it's fine. So people say like, "Why are you ignoring me?" I'm not ignoring you, bro. Like, so if I'm ignoring you, is I literally just have not seen your questions, or I just like, you know, or your questions are just not interesting for people. I swear these people just say random ass countries, 100%. I've never been in Israel, so I don't know. Colombia is a no-go. They're robbing everyone. They're not robbing everyone. I've been robbed in Colombia, and I think the robbing stuff is overblown. Um, it's hard to find tens in Bolivia or Lima. I think it's like the same, to be honest. Lima's a hidden gem. Yeah, Lima right now I think is like the like Lima. Lima, I would say, is like my hidden gem. I would say right now, Lima and Santa Cruz. If I were to say like, I'll say this: of the hidden gems I'm willing to talk about publicly, Lima and Santa Cruz are like the two that I would say are like the most beneficial. Um. Anyway, bro just said they robbed him. Yeah, no go. I did this whole rant yesterday, man. But like I have to say this. Oh, dude, someone just purchased the Poly system. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I did say I'm not plugging. So I'm angry at you for buying the system because we're supposed to not plug. No, I'm just kidding, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. You can get a lot of value from it, man. You can get a lot of value. Um, no one's making fun of Estonian women. It's just like people like it's just like I don't know. Like I don't really know. Anyway, let's have like a good like topic of conversation. How about that? I'm gonna look for a good topic of conversation. These people are still arguing about bar girls in the Philippines. Like I don't know, man. Like why did I nuke the Discord? Honestly, the reason why is because like first of all, I just did that by accident. If I'm just be completely honest. Um, but then two, I don't know, man. I just wasn't like I just wasn't getting anything out of it. You know what I mean? So you know, I'm 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 trying out a bunch of different things. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Sorry, man. Just discovered your content, bro. You're the man. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Say you go somewhere solo. Do you use apps to meet people? Go to coffee shops, bars? Yeah, I guess that's a good like question. So first of all, like a lot of people are scared of going solo. I think that like I actually prefer going solo to traveling with people because I think that like when you travel with people, you kind of stay in your little bubble a little bit. I'm not saying there's never a benefit of going with traveling with people, but I just think about the places that I've traveled with people versus the places I've gone solo, and I've really got a much more like enriching experience going solo versus traveling with other people. Um, maybe just people I went with sucked, but I think like you really don't like go on your own adventures when you go solo. That being said, like if you're trying to meet people, like honestly, a lot of times the best way to meet people is just like be out. You know what I mean? So yeah, like go on Tinder, meet girls there. That's a good way to meet girls and meet people. But like just go to a coffee shop and just hang out. You know what I mean? Go to like public places and just be there. You know what I mean? Go like if you're athletic, go to a beach, go to a park, you see people playing a sport and just join in and just make friends, right? Like that's my best friend that I made traveling. Um so I was literally just walking down the street, and this is back when I used to smoke, and I bummed a cigarette from his girlfriend. I obviously didn't know that she was his girlfriend at the time because I didn't know him. And she invited me to like a volleyball game, and I just went. We played volleyball, and like we just became friends. I mean, I don't know if he's my best friend I made traveling, but like one of my best friends I made traveling. So like literally just walking down the street, having random conversations with people, getting like when you get invited to shit, go to it, and you'll make friends. It'll be very easy. Ecuador sounds amazing, but you need your Spanish. Yeah, sure, dude. I mean, like, oh, somebody asked a Spanish question. Like, here's the thing about like knowing Spanish. Like, don't let not knowing Spanish prevent you from traveling abroad. But at the same time, like if you're actually looking to like go and wipe somebody up, like learn Spanish, right? But like when it comes to learning Spanish, like you want to be in a position where you're like, damn, I need to know Spanish, right? And then like you'll be able to do it. Um, why are you in Kosovo? I don't know, dude. Well, the way that I choose places to go to is I literally just look at a map and I'm like, oh, that seems cool. And then I go. Me and my wife literally have been choosing places to travel to like that for the past 2 years. And that's how I traveled to before I met her. I was just literally just I go, I look at a map, I'm like, oh, that's this place looks fun. Let's check it out. I don't do research, by the way. So is Lima and Santa Cruz good for younger guys traveling for a week at a time and looking for short-term cheek of fun while there? I know Lima is. I don't think Santa Cruz is as good for that, but check it out and let's see. Do you want fun or wife? If you're a grown ass man, why do you want to be about in someone else's schedule? Oh, somebody just, bro. Okay, look. If you want my top 5 countries for the most beautiful women, you're gonna need it to you. But I'm just saying, like in the future, like let's up the amount, man, for these super chats. But I appreciate it. Someone asked, like, should I focus on fun or getting a wife? Like, whatever you want, man. Um, okay, so I'm gonna just respond to this one comment, and then like I'm gonna answer your question with the $2 super chat. I'm a research guy. I get major FOMO. So this is one of the most important things that I'll say on this chat. And this is probably the most important thing that I'm gonna say in this entire week of lives. So please listen up. If you are unhappy with the way your life is, right? And maybe you're not. But if you are, and somebody proposes a way of doing things to you, somebody who's happy, by the way, proposes a way of doing things to you that is different from the way that you're doing them currently, like it's not just, hey, I don't do it this way, I'm not going to do it. It is the fact that like if you have done things a certain way in your life and it's led you to unhappiness, then yeah, maybe like the specific different solution is not the right solution, but whatever strategy you're pursuing right now is not making you happy, right? So you need to like you need to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, like, am I a happy person? Am I happy with the way my life has gone? And if the answer is no, you need to start overturning some of the way that you do shit. You know what I mean? And it can be small, it can be big. Like, so one tiny little anecdote for me, and then I promise, dude, I'm gonna answer your question. But like, um, I'm a big food guy, as you guys can probably tell, right? But like I like, street food, I like that type of stuff. I don't like, fancy restaurants. I find that really pretentious and stupid. But when I was traveling the world, when I went on like a year long trip around the world, when I started being digital nomad, I was like, I need to get out of my comfort zone because I can't just live the same life that I was living in Los Angeles, in Rio de Janeiro or Lima, and just assume that's going to make me happy. I need to change things fundamentally, not just my location, but my mindset too, right? And so I went out of my way to do stuff and to follow a mode of thinking that I just don't do normally, because I was like, clearly my mode of thinking has brought me to this point is incorrect in some way. And I am the worst person to diagnose how it's wrong, because my conception of a good way of thinking has led me to a place where I'm deeply unhappy. So my judgment is by definition incorrect. So stop. So if you are unhappy, stop listening to your judgment and start doing opposite shit. Is my most important, you know. Paulie's top 5 countries for the most beautiful women. I think the most beautiful women in the world, just off the top of my head, like if you're looking for like where are the most like the most beautiful women, where are they? I would say Brazil, Argentina, Morocco, and I don't know, Italy, probably. So this is actually so Patrick says, where would you recommend for over 30? You want to go to Central, like the best places for over 40 are Central America and like Northern South America, like those types of women. But you over 40, you're fine in like Argentina and Brazil too. So someone says women are the same everywhere. I've been to 40, 30 plus countries. You all look for the same things: height, money, status, looks. Okay. This is another critical point that I'm going to make. I'm really spinning like real game here. So, by the way, give a super chat. But anyway, people are dropping off because apparently people like the, oh, this is where the tits are a lot more than like me giving actual like useful life advice. I found, but whatever, I don't care. I'm here. I'm trying to give useful life advice today because anyway. So this is the exact mentality that I'm talking about, right? So like there are people who travel abroad, right? And try to attract women in the same way that they've attracted women in the United States, and then they'll say that women are the same everywhere. Like, okay, yeah, women are the same everywhere because every single place you go, you flash your Rolex, you talk about how much money you have, and so no matter where you are, you attract the gold diggers, and then you say that women all over the place are just gold diggers. Like that, like it's not a women problem, bro. It's a you problem. And so you need to change the way that you do things if you want to find women that are different from the type of women that you're finding. So it says, um, you're looking for the same women in a different place, 100%. Poop loves the life wisdom. I appreciate that, man. What about Colombian women? Where do you rank them? I don't know, man. It's just a silly question, man. And too much research can mess with their autonomy because you're on a trip. I mean, you also just gotta like, and like I didn't mean to go hard on you so much, Davi. I apologize. Like I was just using that as like a springboard for like a larger like conversation, right? But like my like, yeah, like I think in general you're gonna be happier in life if you just kind of follow your balls a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that's like if you just become a guy who just follows his gut a lot more, I think you're gonna end up being a lot happier. Even if that doesn't specifically lead you to like a better place with better women, I think just having that approach in life is gonna make you a lot happier. So like he's like, it's biology. Women tend to go for men who can protect them, whether it's financially or from other men. Like so this is called a Mott and Bailey argument, right? So like what people do, and this is like a really pussy way of arguing, by the way, is what they do is they make a like really outlandish statement, right? And then when you challenge them on that outlandish statement, they then retreat to a much more normal statement, right? Like, yes, women all over the world who are looking for men who can like financially provide for them, care about the competence of men, how men comport themselves, and like being a good provider for them, right? That does not then mean that that women all over the world are all looking for the same thing: height, money, status, looks, right? Like there are a lot of women who are not who here's a difference if we're talking if we're going to use like real like technical philosophical language, right? Like for most women around the world, you know, height, status, money, looks is a threshold. Is this guy sufficiently tall, sufficiently good looking, making enough money? And then they look out for other things, right? You are making a you know, like I forgot the exact term for it, but like a maximalization argument, right? A spectrum argument that every woman chooses the man that has the greatest amount of those four characteristics, right? And so what I'm saying is no, they don't is not an optimization, it is merely a threshold. And then you draw back to the Bailey and you say, well, there's a threshold. We both agree there's a threshold. We both agree that every woman wants a guy who is like sufficiently good looking and can provide for them in some capacity, right? The claim that you are making is that a woman anywhere in the world is going to leave her man to go out with a millionaire and be on his yacht, right? That is a very different claim than the one you're retreating to. Does that make sense, or are you just like, you know, like, in your head it's just like boo, and you're just not listening, and you're just gonna like retype the same. It's biology. It's biology. It's biology. Are you just gonna do that, or are we gonna actually have a conversation here? Sorry, I'm like the more I talk to people who say like stupid stuff, like I just like have much less of a patience. I apologize for that. Anyway, oh, math went crazy. Yeah, dude, Paulie had enough. Lead with gut or balls. I mean, leading with your gut and leading with your balls is the same thing. No, John, I was responding to somebody else. I wasn't responding to you. So like the thing about Floripa is that like Floripa is the same. Like every single American thinks that they are the only guy that knows about Floripa. And then, like, I've had so many, like, literally every conversation I have with a guy about Brazil is they're just like, you know, um, there's like, hey man, I've heard about this place that nobody's heard about. It's called Florianopolis. And I'm just like, oh yeah, thanks. Literally every fucking conversation I have is about how no one else has heard about Florianopolis, and you're the only person who's heard about Florianopolis. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying that, like, that's the problem with Florianopolis. And so like I've talked to so many people who've gone there recently, and literally it's just like every single person there is an American. You know what I mean? Um, I'm liking the idea of traveling to Bolivia and Argentina outside of BA. If Paraguay isn't cheap anymore, I'm less interested. You, the man. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the super chat. Um, I don't know. Is there a way for me to like post this? I've seen like other people post this, but I guess I can't. Anyway, so I do like this message. Thank you. Um, yeah, I think Bolivia is gonna be the good spot to go to in the future. Um, Tips on how to protect yourself. Um, I don't know anything about Cape Verde, to be honest. The first country that I've been to as a passport bro was Colombia, but like that was in 2014. It was a very different place, you know, back then. Um, do you prefer Asia or Latin America, and why? So personally, like I made this joke when I was like traveling, and now it might end up being reality. Where I was just like, I want to marry a, I want to marry a Latina, which I did, and then live in Asia. Like, I'm much more attracted to Latinas, but I would much rather live in Asia than Latin America. Asia's cheaper, safer, and everything's higher quality. My friends are trying to shame me for being a passport bro. Advice. Yeah, man. I mean, like, you know, the best advice is just not give a shit what they say. If someone's trying to shame me for being a passport bro, is just like, okay, man, like, are you happy? Are you happy in your life? If you're not, then why do you care about what I'm doing in my life? And by the way, if you are happy in your life and you're obsessed with my life, then you're probably not happy. So fix fix your own. What one of my favorite quotes. I heard this recently. I try not to push Catholicism, but it comes out every once in a while. Is by this like cardinal, and the cardinal was like, um, "Don't focus on other people's sins. You have enough of your own sins to um, ask for forgiveness for." You know what I mean? And so if someone's focusing on your sins, it's like, and I'm not saying being a passport is a sin, honestly, but I'm just saying that, like, yo, thanks, Frankie. I appreciate that. Floripa's done. Goiânia is where it's at. I think so too. Cape Verde has been getting a lot of hype. I don't know, but like I've heard from a lot of people that Cape Verde's been good, but I don't have any like I don't have any friends that have been so like when I make my opinions on places, right? Obviously, like if I've been there, like that's like the most important thing, right? But like I'll often qualify and be like I haven't been to this place, but like you know giving hearsay, but like I only really give hearsay if like a friend of mine has been there. And nowadays I do kind of have to rely on a lot of like, hearsay because places change so dramatically and I'm married, right? So I do always have to like, rely on a mix of my own understanding of passport brodom and what I'm hearing from people out in the field. And so I've heard from a lot of people online that Cape Verde is good, but I can't attest to it because none of my friends have ever gone to Cape Verde and like proved it. Does that make sense? Um, what platform is he answering questions on? I'm answering questions on TikTok and on YouTube. Just so people know, in 30 minutes, I'm moving just to YouTube. I'm going to be giving up the TikTok and I'm going to be going just to YouTube. Um, the reason why I still do TikTok is literally just I don't have enough volume of questions on YouTube to really like do it. But long term, this is going to be a YouTube show. So if you're watching this on TikTok, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But like, go to YouTube in half an hour. Um, I'm just sad about home math. My sister needs his content to understand, but I cannot recommend him. Yeah, man. I mean, like, here's the thing, man. Like, never go full black pill. You know what I mean? Never go full black pill. And that's why, like, I tell people, like, I'm black pilled about dating in America, but I'm not black pilled about marriage or relationships or love. I'm incredibly white pilled about those things. And the fact that I'm so white pilled about those things is why I'm black pilled about America, right? It is my love, relationships, women, all of this stuff that makes me black pilled about America. It's the same way that, like, if somebody really loves sushi, and he goes to a bad sushi restaurant, which I do all the time, like he's gonna be honest. He's gonna say this sushi sucks. It's better somewhere else, and it's cheaper somewhere else. It's better and cheaper somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Don't go here. Right? Like that's what real love for something is. Right? So again, like that's the problem with home math. Home math went too black pilled. Right? He didn't like whenever you make a criticism, you need to have a and so do this, right? Because if you're just focusing on criticism, then you just get in your head and you get depressed and stuff. I went hard on home math. I feel a little bit bad to be honest, but like the guy did compare my wife to an orangutan, so like I don't feel that bad about it. But I mean, he didn't compare my wife specifically, just like Pastor Bros in general. But I'm pretty sure he had me in mind. Black pill, like black pill mean so like red pill means basically like conservative. It's like more complicated than that, but like basically taking a red pill means becoming conservative. Taking a blue pill means becoming liberal. Taking a black pill means like becoming really despondent and cynical about things. And taking a white pill means that you're becoming really optimistic about things. Does that make sense for people who just don't get the lingo? How is Cuba? Honestly, man, I haven't been to Cuba, so I can't like speak to it. But I would honestly I would 100% go to Cuba right now. I mean, I have a Polish passport, so I can, but I would 100% go to Cuba. Um, is Bolivia worth it? I think Bolivia is like if I was going somewhere, like if I was single, right, and I was choosing like with all my knowledge right now, and I was choosing a place to go in Latin America, I would probably choose Santa Cruz, Bolivia. It would be like my number one spot right now. Of the spots I'm willing to talk about, obviously there are a lot of secret spots that I don't talk about, but like of the spots that I'm talking about, like Cuba, Bolivia is probably my number one right now. Um, I haven't been to PR. I actually haven't been to PR. Um, Home Math believes in Disney. I don't know what that means, but I feel like from my perspective, the Midwest has good girls. This is not true. I mean, like the girls in the Midwest are better than they are in other parts of America, but like the overall problem is that, and I talked about this yesterday, is that there is a like the overall culture in America is so acidic and toxic and destructive to the minds of women that even if you marry a very traditional woman from the Midwest, like her entire media diet is going to be like call her daddy, is going to be like all of this psycho stuff that is meant to make women go crazy and divorce women and divorce their husbands. How about Europe? Men are destroying women in America. I don't really know what does that mean, men are destroying women in America? I love how everything is the men's fault. Everything is men's fault. Misogyny is men's fault and feminism is men's fault. You know what I mean? The lack of respect. I don't think it's the men's fault, man. Like I really think it's the women's fault. Yo, Chimp Maxing said she's not gonna let you hit, bro. Stop pandering to feminists. Honestly, like I have to say, like one of my problems as like kind of an autist is that like I spend way too much time listening to people's arguments and giving them responses when like, especially when you see a dude just being like a feminist like that. Like the best response so often is exactly this. It's just, dude, she's not gonna let you hit. Stop pandering to feminists. Shut up. And by the way, so I was actually gonna make a video about this today. So I'm just gonna say this here and just like clip it and make this my video. Like, have you guys ever heard of the term performative man? So a performative man is a term that women invented for a man that literally does every single thing that women want him to do, right? Is feminist, is liberal, like goes to therapy, reads The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, right? Like loves, macchiatos, is literally every single thing that women want in a man, right? But they say it's all performative, right? And so the lesson in that as a man is you can literally do every single thing that feminists want you to do. You can literally just watch feminist videos all day, make a list of all the shit they want you to do, and then do that. And they will still criticize you. They will still attack you. And the reason is because feminism is not an ideology. You need to understand this. Feminism is a nihilistic death cult, right? And the thing about men and women is that we're showing like Jordan Peterson here. I can't do a Jordan Peterson impression, right? But like the thing about men and women are yings and yangs of each other. Men are overly orderly, and women are like overly chaotic, right? And the problem is that when you let either of us just be by ourselves, we spiral out of control, right? And women let to their own devices too often, and when they're this like self-fulfilling, self-aggrandizing loop, they just go crazy, right? And this is, by the way, what we've been seeing with the Lindsay Clancy case. But the point of it is that, like, don't don't be feminist. Something I learned the hard way. Don't be feminist. Don't be liberal. Don't be progressive. These women aren't going to reward you for it. They're going to criticize you for it. They're going to attack you for it. Because all they do is criticize and attack. And then that woman who's been criticizing you for being a performative male is then going to go date a Trump supporter. I promise you. Most of the most liberal women you meet, the guys they actually sleep with, are Trump supporters, are conservatives. Because of course, because of course, because of course, because women don't actually want what they want. Women want to say a bunch of bullshit and then get like 5 or 10% of it. That's what women actually want, right? Men make this joke, women undefeated against accountability. The problem with that joke, the way that men say it, is that inside of it is the presupposition that women want to be held accountable, and like all of what they're saying isn't just bullshit. And the actual way to view it is what they are saying is bullshit. And you need to realize that it's bullshit. You just need to do your own shit and like stop pandering to these women. How do you like that? I know I said no plugs, but this is what I talk about in the Paulie system. In U, use your balls, and E, establish authority. You are not going to be able to have a happy relationship in Latin America if you do not understand these concepts. So go to the link in the chat and buy the Paulie system today if you want to actually have a happy and healthy relationship in Latin America. Anyway, bro took Ash with that Starlink. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier. I bought the Starlink, but it doesn't work. America doesn't provide much bang for your buck. That alone is a good reason to be passive, bro. Let alone better checks. 100%, dude. That's another great reason. It's just like inflation's out of fucking control. And like I'm not like an inflation account. There are a lot of other accounts that like focus more on affordability. But like I wish, dude, I wish I could be an affordability account. That shit looks so easy. That shit looks so easy. Although like all the affordability accounts look at me and are like, that's so easy. So, you know. I think you sound divorced from reality. You think I sound divorced from reality? How do I sound divorced from reality? Hey, say this, but you sound like you're never gone late in your life. I'm married, bro. Anyway, so like, why am I divorced from reality? But by the way, this is the quintessential way that like feminists argue, is that like they will say you're divorced from reality, you're an idiot, and then they're gonna like substantiate your claims or whatever. How about this, man? What? Why don't we do this? I used to do this a lot, but like I'm not. I've stopped doing it. But like, why don't we do this? I can't like I can't get you. This is simply not how people work. Okay, but like just saying this is not how people work isn't like an argument. That's not an argument. You know what I mean? So Gravity says sucks. I'm attracted to them. I mean, here's the thing about liberal women, and like this is actually, you know, um, so this is kind of like a little bit of a black pill, but a little bit of a white pill. There are like every woman in the world is a little bit feminist now, right? And so you need to learn how to deprogram that feminism, right? And by the way, I still I still think it makes sense being a password bro, right? Like if you're going to deprogram feminism, like why not deprogram somebody that's like less feminist, right? But like every girl is a little bit feminist, right? But like by using the Paulie system, link in bio, what you're going to learn how to do is how to establish your authority in the relationship so that she stops being feminist. My wife, when we met, she told me she only wants to have one kid because she wants to focus on her career. Now she hasn't worked in like over a year and she wants to have 6 kids. So Paulie knows how to deprogram feminists, is what I'm saying. Fucking shit. Fucking shit. Oh, sorry, I can't say that on YouTube. I just spilled coffee on this. Anyway, my wife will clean it up. I think Asuncion is pretty cooked nowadays. Feminism is a death cult is also not an argument, me or Mono. Yeah. I know that. Um, I know that feminism is a death cult is not an argument. So the way that arguments work, Lil Borky, right, is that there's a claim, there's evidence, and there's an implication, right? That's the structure of an argument, right? Feminism is a death cult was the claim, right? What happened afterwards was the evidence or the argument, and then there was an implication at the end of that. That's how arguments work. Okay, so yes, I know that feminism is a death cult, is not an argument. Everything after that was the argument. So what I'm asking from for you, right, is like you said you are wrong. Okay, that's your claim. I know thinking is difficult, man. So just really just concentrate and try to power through this. It's not gonna get a lot more difficult. Okay. So when you said you're wrong, that's a claim, right? Not like a bank claim or anything else. That's like an argumentative claim, right? What you need to do now is you need to give me evidence, right? Not like police evidence, right? It's not a criminal trial. I know you're very slow. You didn't pass second grade the first 7 times, but like again, concentrate, okay? So now you need to give me evidence. And you need to like present a syllogism. I'm not even going to use the word syllogism. Just like pair thoughts together as to why that claim is true. Okay? I'll give you like 30 minutes to work on it, man. Got to learn to make it online income. Shit never ends. That's true. Can South Asians become passport bros? Not really, man. How old was I? Like when I left America, I was like 33. But like the first time I was ever a passport bro was like 24. What if you like blonde hair, blue eye women, but don't want feminist brain rot? Go to southern Brazil. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life without my wife for being abusive towards her. Whoever said to be abusive towards your wife? Did I say to be what? Hey, chat. When did I ever say abuse your wife? I don't really remember that, but the mental load content. Thanks, Wesna. Okay, so I'm just gonna call you Wesna. I know it's Wes, but I'm just gonna say, does Chad have to do any of this? Chad has to do more of this than you think. Like the Nobel Prize winning economist named Richard Thaler. So sorry guys, I was just cut out for a second. I bought Starling today, but then it didn't work. So I'm really trying to fix this problem. Sorry YouTube guys. I bought Starling today, but it's not working, and so we're gonna have some connectivity issues. I apologize. I promise I'm going to be on here until 2 a.m. So if I get cut out, just come back. Anyway, so Gravity asked, does Chad have to do any of this? So there's this Nobel Prize winning economist named Richard Thaler who has a book called The Winner's Curse, right? And what he posits in the book is that a lot of times when you think you're like winning a competition, you end up having like rewards they're like bittersweet and actually hurt long-term success. One of the best examples of this is like the trope of like the jock in high school who like at 35 is working at a gas station and the nerd who becomes a millionaire, right? That's like the good crystallization of the winner's curse, right? And the problem with Chad in America is that Chad in America ends up marrying an American girl that is completely enmeshed in all this craziness and then makes his life a living hell, right? Like the guy who married Lindsay Clancy was a Chad. Tom Brady, who got divorced by Giselle Bundchen, was a Chad, right? Will Smith was a Chad. Like Will Smith and Tom Brady are the two most success like from the year 2000 to 2026 outside of like tech. It's hard to find two men more successful than Will Smith and Tom Brady, right? And still they got divorced and their life completely ruined by their women, right? And so there's a winner's curse when it comes to America, where like the Chads actually often end up with the worst women because they get the pick of the lot, but they're not actually that good at picking. Men aren't that good at picking, right? And so I actually think that like when people call us losers back home, I actually chuckle a little bit because I think that like it's like, okay, I'm a loser back home, whatever. I mean, I have a whole other argument about this, but I'm a loser back home, whatever. I went abroad and I now have a better relationship and a better marriage than like all of the Chads that are living in America. So like, yeah, no, Chad doesn't just have to do this. Chad gets like completely reamed by this. Try new power is not a power supply; it's a obstruction issue. Vesna, Vesna, are you Polish or Ukrainian, or are you like American with just a Polish name? Do you have any resources to pimp out women? I don't. I don't pimp out women. I think that's like an evil thing to do. Verbal abuse is abuse. When am I? But like when am I talking about abusing? When am I talking about like verbally abusing anybody? Are you saying that I'm abusing people? Is that what you're saying? I've never talked about abusing women. So like this is um okay, so this is actually a good point, right? So Lil Borky says that I'm not describing treating my partner with respect, right? And see, and like this is so like I'll make a counter argument to that. And again, I know that like you have a sub 70 IQ, so like other people are going to listen to this argument and like be moved by it. You obviously, you know, Blue's Clues is difficult for you to comprehend, but everybody else listening, listen to this. So I hate cats. I'm a dog person, right? Like just straight up. I love dogs. I hate cats. And so we have a cat, right? My wife got a cat. And I hate cats. And so like, like because cats are assholes, right? Now people who love cats are like see their cat acting like a little asshole and are like, oh, that's so cute. Love cats, right? But me, I see that behavior and I punish the cat and I change its behavior, right? Because I'm trying to get that cat to act more like a dog because I don't like cats fundamentally, right? I find their asshole behavior to be obnoxious, right? Now, what's the implication of this? The implication of it is this. If you are a person who is looking at women and trying to get women to act more like men, which is what feminism is all about. It shouldn't even be called feminism. Feminism, the accurate name of feminism is masculinism. Because the whole purpose of it is to get women to act more like men, right? If you are doing that, then like, yes, you're calling me a misogynist. Okay, that's great. Whatever. I think that feminists are the real misogynists because you're the ones that are looking at women in their natural feminine state doing woman stuff. And you're like, nah, this isn't good. I am going to try to change you into a man. While me, in what I'm talking about, I'm saying, understand women, understand the way that women are, respect women, and more importantly, respect the unique things that women bring to the table, and select them for that, not for like being a man, right? So I actually don't think I'm being disrespectful at all to women. I think you're the one being disrespectful to women. Um, go to Bogota or Sao Paulo. I don't want a woman to be like a trucker or a linebacker. Doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do that for me either. Um, we all learning. I don't know what that means. Aren't you performative like you described getting a cat even though you hate it? Getting a cat because your wife loves cats is not being a performative male. It's just being a husband. Like just part of marriage is that like there's some shit that your wife wants that you don't want, and there's some shit that you want that your wife doesn't want, and so you just like suck it up and just do that shit. That's not being a performative male. That's just like her being like, I really want a cat, and you just being like, all right, I'll just get a fucking cat, whatever. So no, it's not being performative at all. Dude, somebody, I'm not like I'm not gonna talk about that because I'm afraid of getting kicked off. What's the deal with like the Japanese diaspora in Brazil? My wife is Japanese; they go hard. So there's a huge Japanese community in Liberdade in Sao Paulo, but I think that the Japanese community is kind of like overblown. Like if you're in like, and like I've played a part in overblowing it, but like it's just not. If you want a Japanese woman, go to Japan. You know what I mean? Dude, you actually helped me a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I don't know. Thoughts in Vietnam and China. I love Vietnam and China. I want to live in Vietnam and China. So, um, don't know what to tell you, mate. Like what Paulie says, we're not always gonna have the same experience. Maybe it's just two different seasons of experience. Yeah, dude. Like this is something that's I think is really important for Pastor Bros to understand. Is that like you can literally, you know, um, like you can literally go to the same place at the same time and have different experiences. You know what I mean? Like and I don't mean that like being at different times doesn't change anything. I'm saying that like so many things change so dramatically in Latin America that like that's why you need to have like a balanced perspective, right? Not just like one person's perspective. Because literally people can be there at the same time and have completely different experiences just because of like, what they go after. You love dogs because it needs you. Cat does. Cats love more trusting than dogs. I'm not going to do a cat versus dog argument. I'm just going to say that cats are little assholes, and that's like the end of it. Like it's like, oh, you have to win their trust. It's like, okay, well, how about this? I pay for your food, I clean up your shit, and I'm the reason why you don't have to like spend your time avoiding fights without cats. How about you pay me a little fucking respect for that? How about that? You know what I mean? This is why like women love cats and guys prefer dogs, is because like women have this natural urge to like seek attention and approval from kids and shit, right? So like, they're fine with the idea of like a little asshole cat like not appreciating them, while a man is just like, no, do you know how fucking hard I worked for all this bullshit? You're gonna fucking respect me, or you're not gonna fucking, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anyway, so as I said, guys, if you're watching me on TikTok, I'm gonna be going to YouTube. So, you know, right now. So I'm be hanging up TikTok. I'm gonna be going just to YouTube. If you're enjoying this on TikTok, go to the link in my TikTok bio, and there's a YouTube link, and go to my YouTube. We're gonna be continuing this for another half an hour, maybe more. if one more person buys the course, I'm going to continue this for another half an hour. Let's just say that. But so like I'll be continuing this for like another hour total. But you know, I'm giving like I'll definitely do half an hour. But anyway, I'm hanging up TikTok right now. I'm doing just YouTube. If you're liking me on TikTok, go to the YouTube. And if you really want to, before I turn into liquid word salad, what does that even mean? Um. Anyway, I'm going to YouTube right now. Everybody, peace out. Women love dogs too, though. Yeah, man. I'm just talking about like I'm talking generalizations. You know what I mean? Do you think it's pointless to pursue Middle Eastern women? No, not really. I mean, you can always get them to convert. Like so I just got accused of being an abuser. So like what I'm gonna say is probably gonna get me in hot water. So but most people who hate me watch me on TikTok. The people who watch me on YouTube, I think everyone who watches me on YouTube fucks with me. Even if people disagree with me, I think people still like everyone here has a positive, opinion of me. But like, what I'll say is this: is that like, what I tell people a lot of time is that the issue you face when you're dealing with like a traditional woman, right, is that like a family oriented woman likes her family, right? And like wants to be around her family, right? And so that's why if you really want a good traditional woman, you need to move abroad for at least 6 months with her. But like you'll notice this thing happen within 6 months, and it happened with me and my wife. About like 4 to 5 months in, is that like you know when you start dating the first like 1 to 4 months, right? She views it as like this is my family and this is my boyfriend. And even like this is my family and this is my husband, right? But then like what happens is that like especially like if you follow the policy system correctly, by the way, you know, click on the link and get the policy system to learn how to do this. Like eventually what happens is like their mind changes to like, it's not like this is my family, this is my boyfriend, this is my husband. It is this is my family now, and these are just my relatives, right? And so if you have like cultural and religious differences, the best way to do it is just like go to a Middle Eastern country, date this woman for 4, 5, 6 months, have her fall in love with you, have a relationship, etc. Right, and then leave, right, and like take her from Morocco to Brazil. If you're a Catholic, take her to Argentina, start going to church, be like, this is the way it is now, and she'll eventually convert. You know what I mean? Like, because like that's just how women are. You know what I mean? Like women adapt their ideology to the people that they're around, right? So like once you take her and put her into like a new environment, she'll adapt and she'll be like, okay, I guess I'm a Catholic now. I love this guy. This guy's a Catholic. I guess I'm Catholic now. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how women are versus men who are a lot more like strict with their ideology and stuff. Does that make sense? Women tend to follow the guy that they like your favorite sports team, talk in your lingo, etc. Yeah, 100%. Like this, this is something I actually talk about in the Paulie system. Again, not plugging at all. This is a no plug day. But if you get the E established authority, I talk about this at length. But like my theory about this is that like back when we were hunter gatherers, right? Like if you think about like men versus women, right? Like men believe in like the tribe because like let's say there's like a tribe of like 10 men and 10 women or whatever, right? I'm sure they're like larger than that, but we're just doing examples, right? And like the 10 men, like you're attacked by another tribe, right? And you go to war with that other tribe, right? If you lose that battle, you're dead. Like all of the men will get killed. You know what I mean? But like if you lose that battle, what happens to the 10 women in the tribe? They just go to the new tribe and they just like their life is the same, right? Like you go out and fight this battle with the other tribe, and for you it's a life or death battle. For them it's, oh, Frank won. Okay, well I'm on Frank's side. Oh, John won. Okay, I'm on John's side. You know what I mean? And so that's why women have this incredible adaptability towards ideology, because it's just like a survival mechanism, right? Like if this woman's tribe got slaughtered and she's sitting around crying all day about it, and I mean, I'm sure she cries for the first couple days, right? But if she sits around crying all about it, then like she's gonna get killed too. Like the new tribe is not gonna want a woman that's just crying all the time, right? So women are a lot more adaptable in that sense. How did you learn all this stuff, bro? You speak facts. Thanks, man. Just dating a lot, being married, observing my wife. Why do I hate the Pinoy? I don't um I don't hate Pinoy. It's just not for me, man. I don't know who Rolo Tomasi is, but if he agrees with me, then like I'm happy about that. I think Rosario is better for dating, to be honest. I heard the term passport bros only applies to black men traveling, not whites. I'm not the like expert on the passport bro culture. I've had like a bunch of newspapers reach out to me to like ask me questions about like the culture of passport bros. All I know is my own content. Like apparently there were a lot of black passport bros, so a lot of them got mad at me, like being like, "Pasta Bros are only black; they're not white." I'm just like, I don't give a shit, man. I'm just making my content. I don't care. Um, awesome. We have another 23 minutes. I think I'm gonna stop doing. I think I'm not gonna do these on Fridays. I think I'm gonna. I like, or maybe I'm just gonna see. I love Mexico, man. Mexico, like I have a few countries. Someone asked me yesterday, like, what countries do you want, like what countries that you have not been to do you still want to go to? And I can't think of a single one that I haven't been to that I want to go to. I've kind of been to all the countries that I want to go to, but there are a few countries that I want to go back to and spend a lot of time in. Number one is Italy, and we're actually going to be spending 3 months in Italy starting in January. I might be getting an apartment in Italy. We might just stay a year in Italy. But then another country is Mexico. Like my four countries that I want to spend more, that I want to go back and spend more time in are Italy, Mexico, China, and Japan. Are like my four countries that I really want to spend more time in. Every other country, you know, even Argentina, I love Argentina. If I never went back to Argentina, I wouldn't really be that upset. Can you go outside and convince the people at the bar that they're actually in Serbia? Um, um, where's good? So somebody says like you're talking about where to go as in America. What about guys from Northern Europe? Like here's the thing, right? So think about it this way, right? Like you're in Denmark, for instance, right? And someone is like, "Oh, thanks, man," and someone's like, "Hey, I'm from Argentina, or I'm from Bolivia, or I'm from Mexico." You know what I mean? And you're just like, okay, so you're a Latino. Because you're from Denmark, and I mean I know the recent immigration has like changed a lot of stuff, right? But like because you're in Denmark, it's like the difference between an Argentinian and a Bolivian is just like I don't know. You guys are all Latinos to me, type of thing, right? Or even like if someone's like, I'm from Brazil, I'm from, you know, Porto Alegre, or I'm from Joao Pessoa. Like you don't know Brazil enough to know the difference. It's just like you're just Brazilian, you're just Latino to me, right? It's the same thing with like white people with Latinos. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, oh, you're from Europe, you're not from America. That's the same shit to me. You're just a gringo, right? So we're all in the same category. Don't worry about it. My It's funny because like people love to clown on Americans for not knowing geography. Like you have all these like street interviewers that are like, "What's this country? What's that country?" Once you go to like other regions, you're shocked by just how ignorant they are about other places in the world. I actually think Americans know more about geography than any other group of people on earth. Like you talk to like, so my wife, for instance, right? We went to we visited my grandma in Poland, right? And there was a Asian restaurant near us. I say Asian because like most of the Asian restaurants you have in Europe are like just like Asian. You know what I mean? Even the ones that are like, supposedly like Vietnamese or whatever, are really just like it's like, oh, you're a Vietnamese restaurant. Why do you have pad thai on the menu? Why do you have sushi? Right? Because this is just like a um it's like a one-stop shop thing, right? And so like what happens is like my wife went to Poland. I went to this restaurant and she got pho, which is Vietnamese food, and she would constantly refer to pho as like Thai food. Because like if you're in Venezuela, you don't fucking know the difference between Thailand and Vietnam. You have no idea, right? So like you're just like, oh, it's just Asians. They're just the same. So Drew says Americans know more geography. Sorry, that's comedy. So I'm guessing you're British, like the way that you're speaking. So the reason why you're so like here's the fundamental thing, right? So Europeans will like have a video where they're asking a bunch of Americans questions about geography about Europe. And then they'll be like, "Oh, you don't know where Northwest Hampshire Shed is? Oh, you stupid American!" Right? And the reason is because you're asking Americans questions about where you from. Drew, I'm pretty sure that if you and an American were in like a trivia game about South America, they would know way more than you. I'm pretty sure that if you were talking to an American about East Asia, they would know more than you, right? Or they would know more than than a random British person, right? Like 100%. People in Europe barely know anything about America. You guys just know New York and like New York, LA, and Ohio is all you really know. Anyway, I was just going on a bunch of rants. Italy, please tell me the north. No, so we're gonna go to wait, where's the food not the best? In Vietnam? Yeah, I mean, like people, you saw this thing where like Europeans clearly did not really understand America that well because they were just like shocked by like Bass Pro Shops and shit, which I kind of liked. I thought it was like cute and endearing, but it shows like that they don't really know that much about us and our culture. But yeah, so the reason why Europe, Italy, first of all, like I'm planning on going to, um, I'm planning on spending a month in Napoli, a month in Genoa, and a month either in Cagliari or Palermo. Like I'm sorry, I don't actually want to spend that much time in North Italy. North Italy is basically just Germany. It's not really Germany, but it's kind of Austria. So like I'm just not interested really in North Italy that much. I know like people can get mad at me, but I prefer Southern Italy. I grew up in New York in like the outskirts of the city. And so like all the Italians that I knew growing up were like, you know, Italians from the south of Italy. So that's just like the culture that I feel more at home with. I actually had a consultation the other day with like two like Italians from Staten Island. One of the guys opened their mouth and I was just like Staten Island, and I asked him like where are you from? He's like Staten Island. I was like 100%. And so, um, it was like a nice little thing. I miss New York a little bit. I'm returning to Tokyo. I lived there 16 years. Tokyo, I love Tokyo. Tokyo is one of my favorite cities in the entire world. I love Tokyo so much. Um, I feel they're more drawn to Americans even the accent sells. I live in the Northeast and it's really nice, but it's expensive and the culture's just work, work, work. I'm guessing like travel like Northeast Italy. Yeah, dude. I mean, like that's exactly why I don't really want to be in like Northeast Italy is Germany. I actually have a video about this because like one of the funny things that happens is that like you go to Brazil and Argentina, and Brazil and Argentina have huge Italian populations, and so you assume that the pizza and the Italian food is going to be good, but it's actually not. Like the pizza in Brazil is horrible, Just so you guys know, Brazil is some of the worst pizza in the entire world, in my opinion. And you're like, how is this the case? Brazil has a huge Italian population. And so the reason why is because in the late 1800s, a huge amount of Italians left Italy, right? And the southern Italians, so it's kind of funny, right? So like the United States needed like low skilled immigrants for like factory jobs. So we were getting Italians from the South, which were a lot like poor and less educated, right? To just throw them into factories, right? And then like Brazil and Argentina, they wanted European immigrants to like build and settle their country. So they didn't want low skilled immigrants from the South. They wanted like much higher skilled Italians from the North. So they brought in immigrants from places like Milan, Torino, Florence, etc. Right. And so because of that, they brought in Italians that can't cook. And the Italians in the South cook a lot better. Northeast USA. Okay. Dude, supermarket pizza is awesome. Supermarket pizza is dope. I am a snob about two things in life. There are two things in life that I'm a snob about. One of them is sushi and one of them is pizza. But because I am a pizza and sushi snob, I respect the craft of even the shitty stuff. You know what I mean? I will eat. I'm the type of person I will pay for Michelin star sushi, and I will also eat gas station sushi, right? Like I love both, right? And so that's the same thing about pizza. Like I love really well done pizza, but like I love frozen supermarket pizza. And a lot of frozen supermarket pizza is like a lot better than like the bougie pizza you get, in my opinion. Thoughts on Salta and Mendoza? Um, so I think Salta and Mendoza are great places to go. Me and my wife, like we have a list of like 50 different cities that like we're thinking about going to, but like it's a long list. Mendoza is one of those cities is on the list. So Mendoza is a good place to live in, but Mendoza is not a good place to date in whatsoever. Nor is Salta. They're both just too small, in my opinion. Like Mendoza is not as small as a city like Cipolletti or like Bariloche or something, right? Like those cities are really small, but like you're not going to meet a lot of girls in Mendoza. Mendoza feels like a suburb kind of. So don't go there and meet women, but if you're looking for a place to just like chill or to settle down, those are great places to go to. I like sushi in Colombia. Colombia has the worst sushi in the world. So Brazil has the worst pizza. Colombia has the worst sushi. Um, gas station sushi. Yeah, dude, I've eaten sushi at gas stations. It's not that bad. I mean, like, yeah, you're gonna be sick for 3 days, but like, fuck it. You only live once, right? You only live once. Um, how can I cope with knowing a woman's past? That's a deep question to end this live on. I appreciate that. By the way, if one more person buys the Paulie system, I'm going to continue this for another half an hour. But I don't think we have enough juice in this to really continue this for another half an hour. But um, dating culture is amazing in Cambodia, and like I don't care if they have Japanese people working at the restaurant. It's still not good. I've had sushi tons of times in Colombia. It's always been terrible. If I go to the sushi place and like I try it out and like it's amazing, I'll change my opinion. But probably this place is incredibly expensive. That's why it's so good, right? But anyway, so the question of like how can you cope with knowing a woman's past? The first question you got to ask is like how important is a woman having a past actually for you? I think that like one of the things that really hangs up a lot of men is that is that so many guys are very mimetic with their desires, right? You look at all these places on social media, right? And they all say that different things are important. And what you do is you like try to create an amalgamation of all the desires that all of your influencers say are good. But the problem is that all those influencers are different people, and so those desires are inherently contradictory. Now, what do I mean by this? Right? So I have a girl who has barely any past. I don't want to give any specifics because I don't want to like embarrass her or whatever, right? But like, if you're looking for a girl without a past, trust me, I found it, right? Now, here's the thing, right? If you are a person who likes to go out and clubbing, like likes to go out clubbing, likes to go to bars, likes to go doing this, that, or the other, right? Like, you do not want to date my wife, right? If I met my wife when I was 25, we would not be married because I was much more of an outgoing person. Nowadays, I'm like a monk. I don't like going out. I don't like seeing people. I don't like doing anything. So the fact that she hates doing that too is amazing for me. We just spend our time together, right? But what you have to understand is like you get this constellation of desires from influencers, and they don't communicate how those are how a lot of those desires are very contradictory, right? So if you like a girl who goes out a lot, is like really fun and gregarious and like tries new things, like I'm sorry to tell you, most of those girls are going to have a little bit of a past, right? So the first thing you need to do is you need to be honest with yourself. Like, what are you actually looking for in a partner? And like, are you even in a place right now that you want to settle down and get married? If the answer is no, then like find a girl who's more outgoing and adventurous, and just know that like you're not actually going to marry her. You're going to find somebody that's more like my wife, right? But like, my wife is the perfect woman for me. I'm pretty sure she's a terrible wife for a lot of other people because they just don't want the same things as me, right? So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is that like if you then are very clear about those things and what you want, then the rest of it just kind of solves for itself, right? So if you're like, okay, like I want a girl without a past, I want to like live kind of like a an austere type of life. I don't really want to go out and do a lot of stuff anymore. I want to like kind of date a homebody because I don't really want to be that type of guy anymore. Well, then with that energy, you're going to attract the type of women, and you're going to be attracted to the type of women that fill that, that checklist. And those women are necessarily not going to have as robust a past, right? And then from there, like at that point, it's just a numbers game, right? It's just like, okay, like, are you okay with one boyfriend, two boyfriends, four boyfriends? And if it's like, and from there, what I'll say is like, if you really love this woman and this woman is like your life partner and the love of your life, and like, your days are brighter because of her, like, who the fuck cares at that point, really? I'm in a weird position when it comes to questions about women's past because like this is one of those issues that I'm kind of like a radical moderate on. Like there are a lot of dudes that are like very hard on like, once a girl sleeps with a guy, she's lost forever, right? Nowadays, that's not true, right? Like, yeah, you can have that opinion in the year 1500 when like 95% of women are saving themselves for marriage. But like nowadays, it's hard to have that opinion, right? So I don't think that's true. But I also think that women telling guys like, "Oh, you should be fine with a girl who has a body count in the hundreds," like I think that's also not true, right? I think it's just a matter of just like being true to yourself and like what's important to you and what you're looking for in a marriage and in a partner. That's like a long answer, but hopefully like that gives you a good answer. Um, no past is good. Indonesian women are great, man. I don't really know China, man. Like that's why I say I want to go to China and like, really experience it so I can have like more information. But if I were to go to China right now, the city that I would go to is Shenzhen, but that's mainly based off of hearsay. I think many women in Asia lie about body count, saving face is a big deal. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I'll say this, right? Um, I think that that's like true. But what I'll also say is that like at a certain point though, like I kind of like I don't think that women lying about their body count, even if they have a body count, is the same necessarily as women being open about having a big body count, right? I think that having a society where women are at least feel ashamed about having a high body count is still preferable to having the society that we have right now. I'm not saying that you're saying it's not. I'm just kind of like trying to draw a distinction here that like it's still better to have a society where women are like even if they do sleep around to be kind of ashamed about it and to like not, and to like lie about it. Cause like the problem that we have in America is like girls are like proud of being like literal prostitutes. And then like it becomes this like self-destructive cycle. You know what I mean? Yeah, I assumed you did agree. I just kind of wanted to like make that point. But anyway, we're at 2 hours. I appreciate everyone joining. If anyone has like a last question you want me to answer, let me know. Right over here, you have the Paulie system. You know, I didn't plug it that much, but would love if at least one person buys it, from this, after we're done. This is based upon, years of traveling and dating in Latin America, being married to a Latina, knowing how these women tick and communicating that to you. And then on top of that, there's like 5 hours of information about the best places to go in Latin America. Which women do you think are loyal when bringing to the USA? Are Thai women? Questionable in your opinion. I think all women are a little bit questionable when moving to the United States, to be honest. Like what I would say is like if a woman jumps at the idea of moving to the United States, she's probably more interested in moving to the United States than she is in you. When you're starting to date abroad, what you should do is like set the expectation that we're not moving to the United States and make that very clear. Even if and especially if you plan to eventually move to the United States, you should still set that expectation, and then you can like winnow out the women that are just more interested in moving to the United States. Like if this woman dates you for like 4 months and and like she's only dating you for a green card and she sees that like you're intransigent, you are not moving back to the United States, then like she'll find somebody else, right? But that will help you. But again, I think moving back to the United States is just generally not a good idea, and I wouldn't recommend doing it. But anyway, thanks everyone for joining. I might do this tomorrow. I might not. I'm not sure, but if you want to date in Latin America, click that link that's pinned, the Poly system, and I'll talk to you all either tomorrow or on Monday. See you all later.